minutes to speak, but if lots of people want to talk, it might get cut to 1 minute. So, you might want to consider writing 2 sets of comments, one for 2 minutes, another one for 1. That way, if time's cut, they won't be scrambling. There's also a countdown clock located at the bottom. Once you're at the fire, stay on top. If you start off top, you might get a keep your comments related to the agenda. Also,
Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you.
Good to see you. So, our 4 partners that are are right this first.
Okay, and they're going to bring them up.
Yes. Okay. She's going to announce it in her remarks, and she's speaking, and they'll still be seated. So,
Okay.
if you want to catch us,
Yeah.
be that way. and then they'll bring them up to take a quick photo.
Okay, and then we'll go out in the
We'll go
hallway?
outside. Yeah, we'll go out in the hallway and do some.
Yeah, I just need one or two quick
Yeah.
interviews and we'll be set.
Perfect.
All right, thank you so much. What? Twice. The other day I did like 4 or 5 in a row. It's never happened to me before. I was like, what's going on?
It's swinging right around the corner.
So this is just surprise for the first so I'm going to swing over. Thanks, man. Although the back of your hair looks really good, I don't want that in my shot.
I get you. I get you. Thank you. So you said he's gonna present to the ministry, or he's gonna swing over?
Just when they announce it.
Yeah,
that's
right.
all.
So you're gonna be over there?
No, I did right here. But see those the 4, I don't want to point at them because
Oh, right
they
here?
don't know.
Right
The
here?
4 people in the front row on the other side of the aisle, they're the people who are the recipients of these donations. They don't know that.
So you're gonna get that angle? He's gonna get that angle.
So I'm just giving you guys a heads up. I'm gonna swing around just in case.
Yeah. For you.
Okay?
I'm gonna be. There's a cool phone mic right next to you. I'm gonna be taking.
Oh, I
some
don't
shots.
care. Just don't be in front of
Just
me.
don't, just don't get in the shot, but get the shot. Check the audio. It's recorded.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. But it's been this way for I think for years. It's always been.
Yeah, I think it's partially actually
Yeah.
and they added that little section to it. It's gotten a lot because that didn't used to be like that little table.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll do what we do.
I now call the March 3rd, 2026 Sandy Hook County Board of Supervisors regular meeting for order. We'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the land call home. There are communities in the San Diego region that face unjust conditions and circumstances related to the environment in which they live. The tribal nations of the San Diego region are an example of what community that is historically facing injustices. We acknowledge the harmony that existed between the land, nature, and its original peoples, who have since endured displacement, persecution, and systemic oppression. We pay our respect to the unceded territory and homelands of the 18 tribal nations in our region, the most Indian county in the United States, and rural local groups, the Kumeyaay-Dueño, the Luiseño, the Cuqueño, and the Kawayan. We aspire to learn from the region's traditional knowledge and experiences in undoing injustice in the past. Andrew, please call the roll for today's session.
Thank you, Chair Lawson, Reamer, Supervisor Anderson. Here. Supervisor Desmond. Here. Chair Pro Tem McGarry.
Here.
Vice Chair Montgomery Scott. Here. Chair Lawson, Reamer.
Here. Thank you. We now proceed with the proclamations. The first proclamation will be given by myself and Supervisor Desmond honoring Susan Brosnan. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Thank you. Okay. We now have Father Nguyen, who will deliver the invocation, and Chanel Hawkins will lead us in the pledge.
Loving and greater God, you created each one of us with dignity. We come together this morning recognizing that you call each of us to respect the human dignity in each person, to live a radical inclusion that embody your tenderness and love for all of us. We ask that you guide us that our actions, listening, planning, and decisions today be grounded in this radical love. To love our neighbors as ourselves, so that we come to realize that the fears and hopes, the struggles and the victories of our neighbors are our own. We love one another because we belong to each other. We pray that our listening and learning, our speaking and sharing, and the decisions we make take into account the most vulnerable among us. We pray for all families in our country and our county who suffer from the lack of resources through fear of being separated, and for the families who already live in separation. We pray for strength and leadership so that as your beloved community, we work together to care for them, to restore dignity to each person, to each resident in our county. We bless them as we bless ourselves, always in your holy name, who always accompany us and call us to the fullness of who we are, to live with dignity and flourishment, and to protect those who are most vulnerable among us. Amen.
Amen.
Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. So now we proceed with the proclamation. The first proclamation is for myself and Supervisor Desmond, honoring Susan Brazo. The second of the proclamation will be Susan Brazo. Good morning. So I'm very happy and also a little bit sad to stand here with Supervisor Desmond and to celebrate someone who has given 25 years of service to this county, Susan Brazo, our Director of Student Human Resources. For more than a decade as Director, Susan has helped guide this county through growth, change, and challenge. Always calm, thoughtful, and prepared. Human resources can be complex work. It requires fairness, discretion, and patience. Susan brought all of that and more. She built trust, she strengthened relationships, she made sure our workforce had the support it needed to serve the people of this county well. And she did it with professionalism, integrity, and kindness. In positions like these, you're never really off the clock. I'd like to thank Susan and her family, especially her parents in Michigan and her daughter who's away at college, for their patience and grace when Susan stepped away from family time when we're on vacation or a weekend visit to answer our many calls and emails. Susan, your leadership has made a lasting mark on this organization. We are better because of you. Thank you for your service, thank you for your steadiness, and thank you for the care you brought to this role. You will truly be missed. And with that, I turn it over to Supervisor Desmond.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate it. So Susan, she has faithfully and diligently served the County of San Diego for more than 2 decades, beginning her distinguished career in 2002 as a labor relations specialist. And through her dedication and expertise, she advanced numerous leadership roles, and her commitment was to excellence and the evidence of a progression to senior labor relations officer and labor relations manager, where she provided invaluable guidance and fostered collaborative relationships that strengthen our workforce here at the county. She continued the commitment to her excellent leadership, was promoted to Deputy Director of Human Resources in 2011, and by 2014 she took over the department. So she was the Director of Human Resources, and she's held that distinction for over a decade. She championed the modernization of the Employee Engagement Survey, transforming it into a powerful tool that informs programs designed to help strengthen workforce well-being and foster a culture of listening and responsiveness across the border and across the entire enterprise. Her leadership extended beyond the traditional boundaries. She woven the board's priorities, but also, that is a big word, the Neurodivergent Excellence Program. I'm going to have to look that up. And the veterans and the workforce is in the fabric of this organization, ensuring that every employee I'm sure they felt valued and supported in their unique contributions. And as the Senior Labor Relations Officer and Labor Relations Manager, Susan advanced strategic initiatives, but also created an environment where inclusion, respect, and opportunity became the hallmarks of the county's commitment to its people and their advancement. She championed talent development initiatives, ensuring employees had the opportunities to grow and to thrive and continue the success of the organization, leaving a legacy of empowerment and professional excellence. Did you see the smile? It's her all. She's got a great smile and a great attitude, and she really kind of brings up the spirit of collaboration, cooperation, while still getting the hard job done. So we're going to miss you and your beautiful smile. So whereas the County of San Diego is committed to recognizing and honoring those individuals, and particularly Susan Brasco here today, being proclaimed by the Chair, Tara Lawson-Reamer, and all members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this third day of March 2026, that we commend Susan Brasco for her outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the residents of San Diego County, and to hereby declare today to be Susan Brasco Day throughout San Diego County.
Thank you so much. I am so honored. I am a person of yours, so I simply want to say thank you, Chair, Supervisor Desmond, Supervisor Anderson, Chair Pro Tem, my boss, Ebony, Andrew, Monica, Vice Chair. Thank you so much.
One more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Put that in your vacation.
Okay.
Thank you. The second proclamation will be given by Supervisor Desmond, honoring the Oceanside Historical Society. Accepting the proclamation will be Christy Hawthorne.
All right. All the way from Oceanside, California. That's part of Northern California. You didn't know. Where I live. Good morning, everyone, and I'm honored today to recognize Christy Hawthorne. She's the director of the Oceanside Historical Society, along with her dedicated volunteers who passionately champion the community's heritage, preserving stories, artifacts, landmarks, and defining their coastal community. So thank you for making the trip down. It wasn't too bad down the 5 this morning, but anyway. As most of you know, hopefully, Oceanside is renowned for its iconic pier dating back to the 1800s. Rich military ties to the Marine Corps base just north of Camp Pendleton. A vibrant surf culture celebrated at the California Surf Museum in Oceanside. And an historic Mission San Luis Rey. It's a dynamic art scene, anchored by the Oceanside Museum of Art. So there's a lot of culture, a lot of activity up in Oceanside. So the Historical Society also preserves and supports historic sites like the Heritage Park, the museum, and so future generations can experience the local history firsthand. Before stepping into her role as director, Christy Hawthorne, she dedicated more than 20 years as president of the Oceanside Historical Society, and that's a legacy that she built. In celebration of Women's History Month, we're especially grateful for Christy's heart, vision, and tireless energy in keeping this historic town shining bright and honoring its unique history. She's inspired many amazing community events of volunteers, historians, and partners who generously share their time and talents to the brief history of life in Oceanside. Oceanside's on the map because of leaders like Christy, and we're lucky to have you. Unfortunately, a lot of cars pass on F5 and head to San Diego, and they just pull off into Oceanside, enjoy everything right there. But anyway, the Society's unwavering dedication to the diverse stories strengthens the community spirit, deepens the belonging, preserves priceless history, and fuels Oceanside cultural and economic viability. I'm proud to have supported their impactful service through our county's grant programs. And whereas the County of San Diego, we're proud to recognize and honor organizations and people that exemplify the highest ideals of public service, and the Oceanside Historical Society is one such worthy organization. So therefore, be proclaimed by all members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this 3rd day of March, 2026, that we commend the Oceanside Historical Society for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the citizens of San Diego County, and to hereby declare today, along with Susan Brosco Day, to be the Oceanside Historical Society Day throughout San Diego. Thank you, Christy, and it's an honor, very well deserved, so thank you so much.
I just want to thank Supervisor Desmond for this honor, and for the County Board of Supervisors. You know, the Oceanside Historical Society is a very modest nonprofit, but we've done a lot. We published 3 histories about this history of Oceanside in our 40-year period. I want to introduce our president, Shelley Rashawn, our board member and social media director, Rebecca Kemp. Again, we do a lot with a little. I love Oceanside, and we have a very culturally diverse population, and we try to include everyone. Our history dates back to the mission, includes Camp Pendleton, and includes so many people of all walks of life. Oceanside truly is where life is worth living. Before I close, I want to thank Supervisor Desmond for his support in allocating grant monies to us for the County Board of Supervisors in total, to approving those grant funds, because a little nonprofit such as ours, we really need that public support and those grant monies. So thank you for your time and attention, and thank you, Supervisor Desmond. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next proclamation will be given by Vice Chair Montgomery Scott, honoring Cox Charities, accepting the proclamation.
Well, that's half the chamber. Good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to be here today as we recognize Cox Charities, an organization that is committed to strengthening our community. This organization is built on a long-standing tradition of service and philanthropy, supported directly by Cox employees who give generously and consistently year after year. Their mission is centered around strengthening the communities they serve through investments in education, youth development, social services, and local nonprofits that help families thrive. Each year, Cox Charities provides grants, scholarships, and partnerships that directly support students, educators, and community organizations. Their support of STEM initiatives, after-school programs, and youth enrichment opportunities build pathways for young people to succeed. And their scholarships help open doors for local students who dream big but may face barriers to higher education. And for countless nonprofits providing essential services like literacy programs and family support services, Cox Charities has been a steadfast partner. It reflects a company culture where giving back isn't an afterthought, but it's a shared value. Today, I'm happy to recognize this extraordinary commitment and celebrate the meaningful change Cox Charities and Cox employees create throughout our communities. I've seen this firsthand and been a witness for 7 years as an elected official, and even before that as a staffer. So I personally want to thank you all for what you do for our community. And with that, I will read the last line of the proclamation. Be it proclaimed by Chair Lawson Reamer and all members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this third day of March 2026 that we commend the Cox Charities for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to San Diego County, and do hereby declare this day to be Cox Charities Day throughout San Diego County. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Stepp, and thank you to all the county supervisors that I've got to know over the years. I know you guys work hard each and every day, and I'm just so excited to be here for such a positive event. My name is Chanel Hawken. I'm the Market Vice President here in San Diego for Cox. And on behalf of the entire Cox family, a lot of our Cox Charities board members are actually here today. I'm so honored to accept this proclamation. It's, I think, one of the most favorite days of my work here at Cox for the past 10 years. It's not just a recognition about one event, but a culmination of all of our employees' time, treasure, and talent that they've given over the past 30 years. And today we have 4 really special nonprofits here. We have the Davis Hart Foundation, we have Eating San Diego, we have Junior Achievement of San Diego County, and Shelter Soldier. And they're here today to celebrate with us, but what they don't know is that they will each be receiving a $100,000 grant from the Cox Charities. So like I said, this doesn't happen without our employees that give to the Cox Charities Foundation. So thank you for all the work that you guys do. I accept this and present this on behalf of the employees and all the impact that we've been able to make in San Diego County. So thank you.
How's it going, man?
It's going.
Hear ya.
You all done already?
Go outside for some interviews.
Oh, okay.
I was just here for this proclamation.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. The board proclamation will be given by Chairperson McGeary, honoring the American Heart Association.
I'll come around by you.
Is Erica Cervantes R.
Good morning, everyone. It is my distinct honor to recognize the American Heart Association for its extraordinary leadership in the fight against cardiac arrest and heart disease. For more than a decade, the County of San Diego has advanced heart health through prevention, education, and community blood pressure screenings. We know early intervention saves lives, and we're proud to partner with organizations that share that commitment. At the same time, we must acknowledge persistent health inequities in San Diego County. In my district, historically underserved communities, including communities of color, low-income families, immigrants, seniors, and individuals experiencing homelessness, face barriers to preventive care, culturally responsive services, and life-saving trainings. When emergencies happen, these gaps can mean the difference between life and death. And nowhere is that commitment more urgent than in our response to heart health. An unexpected crisis that can strike anyone, anywhere, at any time. Cardiac arrest remains one of the leading causes of death in our nation. Each year, more than 350,000 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests occur in the United States, and survival rates remain far too low. Nearly 70% happen at home, where a loved one is often the first and most critical link in the chain of survival. Immediate CPR can double or triple a person's chance of survival, yet too often bystanders hesitate. Fewer than half of cardiac arrest victims receive CPR, and even fewer benefit from an automated external defibrillator, known as AED. This affects adults and children alike. Over 23,000 children experience out-of-hospital cardiac arrest every year. We must also confront disparities. Women are less likely than men to receive CPR before responders arrive. Awareness, education, and community engagement can help close those gaps and save lives. Awareness, education, and community engagement can help close these gaps and save these lives. Heart disease remains the #1 killer of women in our country, responsible for 1 in 5 female deaths each year and claiming more lives than all cancers combined. Yet awareness still lags. Many women do not realize it is their greatest health risk, and symptoms often present differently than they do in men. That gap in recognition can delay care and cost lives. When we talk about prevention, CPR training, and rapid response, we are also talking about protecting mothers, daughters, sisters, and friends. That is why the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women movement, which continues to elevate awareness and empower women to take charge of their heart health, is so important. Another movement that deserves recognition is the American Heart Association's bold goal to double survival from out-of-hospital cardiac arrest by 2030 through its Nation of Lifesavers initiative. By expanding CPR and AED training, increasing public access to defibrillators, and strengthening cardiac emergency response plans in our schools, workplaces, and public spaces, they are empowering everyday people to become lifesavers. With that said, I am proud to formally recognize the American Heart Association. So therefore now be it proclaimed through Chair Tara Lawson-Remer and all the members of the Board of Supervisors on this 3rd day of March 2026 that we commend the American Heart Association for their outstanding service, leadership, and steadfast commitment to protecting and advancing the human rights of the residents of San Diego County, and do hereby declare this day to be American Heart Bar Association Month in San Diego County.
Thank you, Supervisor Geary and the San Diego County Board of Supervisors for this honor. My name is Emily Miller, and I'm the Community Impact Director for the American Heart Association. The Heart Association, devoted to changing the future to a world of healthcare lives for all, envisions communities where people don't wait for help, they become it. So that in the face of a cardiac emergency, anyone, anywhere is prepared and empowered to become a vital link in the chain of survival and provide CPR. The goal is called the Nation of Lifesavers. At the very core of this initiative is this transformative idea. In every cardiac emergency, and the real first responder is not always a uniformed professional, but an everyday bystander. Cardiac arrest can strike anywhere. At the gym, in the grocery store, at a child's soccer game. However, bystanders only intervene about 40% of the time, often due to uncertainty or lack of training. 9 out of every 10 people who experience cardiac arrest outside the hospital die, in part because they do not receive immediate CPR more than half of the time. We want people to know that you do not need medical credentials to save a life. What's required is knowledge, courage, and the readiness to act. And familiarizing yourself with CPR can save a life. CPR is a civic duty. You don't need medical training to learn CPR. You need knowledge, courage, and the willingness to act. Heroism is not limited to uniforms. It's everyday people stepping up for others. Thank you again for this honor and for helping spread the awareness about CPR.
The fifth proclamation will be given by Supervisor Anderson honoring Ramadan 2026, accepting the proclamation is the Imam Sa'ad of the Gawad.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here today as we recognize the annual observance of the holy month Ramadan here in San Diego County. Ramadan is a sacred time of fasting, prayer, reflection, and spiritual renewal observed by millions of Muslims around the world. It is a month that calls individuals to look inward, to strengthen their faith, and to recommit themselves to the values of compassion, service, generosity, and peace. Throughout this month, families and communities gather in prayer, share meals at sunset, extend charity to those who need, and deepen their sense of gratitude. These practices not only nurture spiritual growth, but they remind us of our shared humanity and responsibility to care for one another. As we observe the holy month of Ramadan, we honor the rich traditions that strengthen our community and invite greater appreciation of faith in all its expressions. For these reasons, I'm proud to recognize the annual observance of the holy month of Ramadan with this proclamation. I will now read the last paragraph. Be it proclaimed by the members of the Board of Supervisors this third day of March 2026 that we do hereby declare February 17th to March 19th, 2026, to be annual observance of Ramadan month throughout San Diego County. Be patient with this. Ramadan Mubarak. I hope. Thank you. I still have a lot of practice. May this month bring you peace, blessings, and joy. Thank you. And I have this wonderful
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. At the beginning, I would like to thank all of you. Thank Supervisor Anderson, and of course, thank my community members who joined today. It's a great pleasure to be with you, to celebrate Ramadan, and to represent my Muslim community in San Diego, and also the Islamic Center of San Diego East County. We as Muslims observe Ramadan as a time of fasting, prayers, reflection, charity, and community. And Ramadan, as you may know, is not only about fasting from food and drinks, it is actually about purifying hearts, connecting more with God, and strengthening our faith, and also to become a better person spiritually, mentally, and socially. So God bless you all, and I will say what Supervisor said, Ramadan Mubarak. Blessed Ramadan to all of you, and thanks again, it's an honor to be here, and one more time I'd like to thank Supervisor Anderson for his invitation and celebrating Ramadan with us. Ramadan Mubarak.
In my office, we take pride in giving credit where it's due, and with my good fortune, a former employee of mine, Ibrahim, if you come over here, come on, sit over here. This was his idea 5 years ago, and we've done it, and it's his legacy to my office, or Sultan Assembly office will continue to do it. Thank you for that. Thank you for your leadership. I'm still mourning the loss of you, but I'm so grateful that our city attorney hired you because she's got quality staff now, so for sure. Thank you. Let's all go up there and do a quick photo. We're going to do the last. All right. Where you're holding it with me. Of course. We probably need to move a little bit this way as well. If any of my colleagues would like to join us in the photo, you're welcome to join us. So I'm sorry for delaying you, but Ramadan's too important to exclude anybody. Well, what? Sorry. I just made your job a lot more difficult.
Yeah, it's okay, it's worth it. Okay, this is good. I'm gonna go low. Okay, good. Smile. Good. Nice. Good. Couple more. Good. Let's do one more like this. One more. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you all. Before we begin, I'll take a moment to address House rules. Public engagement is a cornerstone of transparent and accountable government. And these board of supervisors meetings are a primary venue where all city agents can make their voices heard. The county is committed to a work environment free from unlawful discrimination and harassment, including sexual, racial, religious, age, disability, and any other form of discrimination and harassment. Under the board's rules, speakers may not use loud, shouting, threatening, impertinent, slander, profane, or abusive language to any members of the board, staff, or general public. Additionally, all remarks and questions must remain on topic during the duration of your speaking time and must be addressed to the board and non-county staff. Any speaker who engages in comments that refuse rules will be issued a warning. After one warning, you will be asked to leave the chambers for the remainder of the meeting. Finally, speakers threatening violence may be reported to law enforcement or police in the meeting. This is a space for community engagement, deliberation, and progress, not harassment, violence, and hate. Okay, we now proceed with non-agenda public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to address the board on subject matters within the board's jurisdiction, but not an item on the meeting's agenda today. The only time action we may take is a referral to the CAO. Under the board's rules, speakers may speak once per meeting for non-agenda public comment either today or tomorrow, but not at both sessions, and you can select which to address at your convenience. We have 5 speakers at phone and 5 speakers in person, and the first 5 speakers in person have been randomly selected. The remainder of non-agenda public comment will be heard at the close of the session. Additionally, in accordance with board rules, for any discussion item with 10 or more speakers, the individuals have 1 minute to share their opinion. According to Rule 4A, members of the public that are not English speaking and need interpretation assistance receive twice the allotted time. And a final reminder, according to the board's rules of procedure, audience members shall not whistle, blast, stomp, beat, or do anything that disrupts the proceedings. If you disrupt the meeting, you will be given 1 warning, and after that 1 warning, if you disrupt the meeting again, you will be directed to leave the chamber for the remainder of the meeting. Andrew, please call the speakers.
Thank you, Chair Boss-Marino. We have 17 requests to speak on matters not listed on the agenda. 7 individuals in person and 10 requesting to speak by phone. For those that requested to speak by phone, please dial the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers and will now randomly select the first 5 speakers in person. All the remaining speakers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session. As your name is called, please come forward and stand on the arrows until it is your turn to speak at the podium. You will have 2 minutes to address the board, and I'll ask you to begin by stating your name for the audio record. I'd like to invite forward the first 3 randomly selected individuals, Ricky Robinson, Sarita Javier, and Jennifer Royston. And they'll be followed by allegedly Audra and Natalie Rajiv.
I am Farida Javier. Signify you supported for this election, pre-election, and City Council President Sean L. Rivera, the guy you supported for his election, re-election. Madam Stephanie.
Steve.
What else?
Yes, we did. Right now has memory waning, so please understand. This is from Angelo Rivera.
Dear Senator, thank you for reaching out to my office regarding your continued concerns over the air quality in your neighborhood and the bee apiary next to your residence. We've reached out to the city's code enforcement department and the country's air pollution control district who found no violations of either air quality standards or city code. I understand you are interested in pursuing policy changes.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
May I?
Caesar, we'll hear you in the afternoon. You want part of the first 5 at mine.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
So,
Ricky Robinson for Not Agenda. This grandfather belongs to Malika and Zaya. Take a good look. The most dangerous man in San Diego County is standing right here. That's right wing. Clutch your pearls, call the deputies, hide the furniture, hide your children. Because all that is happening here is a man speaking. In San Diego, the danger isn't violence, it's daylight. No arrest, no handcuffs, no police involvement, no violent scene, no emergency. Just a grandfather asking for his grandchildren back. A caregiver, a conservator, a trustee. RFA approved or not, they're still family, and family belongs together. And somehow that earns restraining orders, not because of danger, because corruption is being exposed, because the truth hurts, because the ego does not like resistance. The problem isn't me, the problem is the light. The problem is that people are watching and people are not looking away. Say their names, Malika and Zaya, these girls belong home. Thank you. And this is also, I have a team and lawyers, advocates and journalists. We are now working on the federal review. This will be in federal court hopefully by 2027. But we want Malika and Zaya home. These are our children. They've been traumatized by child welfare here in San Diego. My family has been traumatized, tortured. I am a target here. I used to want to die here in San Diego, not anymore. Anyway, I wonder if I can get a picture taken with the board. Is it possible?
Yep.
I'm just asking.
Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Royston. Stop the child trafficking, wake up. Our taxpayers are funding for these pedophiles to live lavishly on the pain and suffering of our children. The County of San Diego Child and Welfare Services is directly responsible for our human trafficking problem. We have social workers that are lying, providing absolutely no evidence to remove these children. They are causing detrimental damage that cannot be reversed. You guys are the one over-medicating our children and not providing them for what they need, and that is their family. They were happy before you took them. You are here to help strengthen and unify. You're not here to take our children, make your lives up. This is the baby you stole from me, and I will not stop fighting. I will not stop yelling. I will make sure to make you famous. When I die, because you guys send your gang stalkers to stalk us, harass us, to make false reports against us, in order to keep our children from us, I will still come back and make sure that you will serve justice. Know that we are working with a new government, and that government that has no tolerance for what you guys have been doing for many, many years. I would like the respect for you to look at us when we're up here speaking, because what we're saying matters. It is our children, and every low-income family out there should care about what is happening, because this will be you. They take your children, they parent alienating him. You have these judges like Judge Calero, Judge Morales, who sit there and violate the color of law in order to profit on these incentives to remove our children. It's unacceptable. And I want to give props for the 3 that sat back while the other 3 sat there and is welcoming the evil
is officially your first warning. If you receive a second warning, you'll be instructed to leave the chambers for the remainder of the meeting.
Yes, Stephen.
Wow. It's interesting. It should be affecting everybody like this woman over here, the things that go on with children. And it doesn't seem to bother any of you, none of you. And it's really sad, so I'm going to ask you to put your money where your mouth is, that if you do care about children, and then being trafficked, sexually abused, and mentally abused, all of the things that have been happening, not only in our county, like with Malika and Zaya, and Waylon, and many other children that you guys have abducted. There's a march here at Waterfront Park on March 7th. I've given you guys all one of the flyers. So if you do care about children, I'm asking you to show up and march with us. It will be at 10 a.m. We're going to be marching around downtown. You guys want to say that you care about children being trafficked, right? Do we not have an item today talking about that and sexual exploitation? So if we're going to do that, then show up for this.
Yeah.
Prove to us that you guys care about the children, especially in San Diego, let alone the rest of the world. I don't understand how this woman can be, that's how it affects people who actually have a soul. It breaks your heart.
Amen.
You can't just sit up there on a dais acting stone cold, because it shows that you guys don't have God in your heart. You sit up here, you pledge allegiance, right, to the United States of America, one nation under God. I don't know what God you guys are under, except for the one that rules this world, which would be Satan. And if you guys do care, then you will show up this Saturday at 10 a.m. at Waterfront Park and march around downtown with us. If you care about children, Jim, please show up.
Thank you. Natalie.
Good morning, supervisors. My name is Natalie Reich. I'm a parent in District 3. I'm here today because after making peaceful public comment at a Del Mar School Board meeting raising concerns about the mistreatment of my child, I was subjected to a campaign of harassment and retaliation. County JPA insurance defense attorneys proceeded to file multiple restraining orders. They moved the hearings to Judge Whitney, who used national security language to publicly label me a domestic terrorist. Public funds were used to subpoena my landlord, requesting personal documents that are irrelevant to school matters. Soon, I was receiving false notices to quit. Up until December, I maintained long-term employment and supported my child and always paid rent on time. Despite this, purported landlord doing business under an unregistered fictitious name filed an unlawful detainer. Mandatory forms were signed under penalty of perjury by attorney Howard S. Burns. I filed a notice of removal to federal court. 2 days later, however, the court entered a default. Despite removal, notice of bankruptcy filings, and emergency applications to stay and vacate, the sheriff executed the clerk's writ. That same day, all of my child's and my belongings were removed from our 4-bedroom home. We remain homeless to this day. When I contacted nonprofits, I was told to sleep in the car with my minor child. Given the homeless crisis in San Diego, I respectfully request an investigation into court procedural safeguards and sheriff protocols when jurisdiction in bankruptcy is actively disputed. There is a hearing downtown, March 13, 1100 Union Street, Department 201 at 9 a.m., addressing these issues, and I welcome transparency and oversight. And I welcome the opportunity to help in any way I can. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. Again, in accordance with the board's rules, we'll be hearing from the first 5 callers. The remaining callers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments. We will start with our first caller.
Although,
Do you remember when I said that we could let ICE self-implode on January 13th and January 28th? Or were you not listening? Anyway, ICE did it, and it brought down DHS along with it and all the good stuff it does. Well, I think that CFWD, the Child and Family Wellbeing Department, is also about self-implode. Hopefully, you will listen better this time and probably reform the CFWD process first, publicly. Arabella McCormick lied about and neglected by the system and murdered. Andrew Ebbing abused, kids taken away by the system. Evelyn Lopez, kids taken away by the system. The 150 or more Polinsky Center abuse cases, along with the other abuse cases, people and animals. And now there's Delilah, who was starved to death at 3 months in 2021 by her unfit adoptive parents. The county created a safety plan, but then the actual visit was at 1 month. A Gerald Walter plan without monitoring is not much of a plan. Does board and county take care of its own and ignore all the harm to others that their policies cause after its action? More county neglect. The county is ruining the lives of too many kids and families. The AJ is investigating the county juvenile justice system. Also, I hear you are about to send kids in foster care illegally to the Dominican Republic. Congratulations to Ricky, Evelyn, and family and supporters.
Now, here for the next call.
Hello, my name is Jaden Marshall. Back in November of 2024, my brother and I purchased a property in Ramona, California. Soon after, a mechanic moved in down the street from us, and since then they have clogged up a portion of Bay Street between 10th Street and 11th Street in Ramona, California, and it hurt my tenant's business, and he's lost business because larger trucks can't access our back parking lot. And he's also stopped getting some of his mail because I believe the street is too congested for them to access the mailboxes. And at best, the street is a single lane road. There are dumpsters in the middle of the road. There are extension cords coming from the building out across the street. There's engines blocking the sidewalks. If the board could look into this and maybe provide some sort of solution for us, that would be great. I believe that no overnight parking would be a great idea in that area, but that's just me. Any solution would be greatly appreciated. And we went to Highway Patrol and they have been very helpful, but it just persists. This issue keeps persisting, and it would require us to watch them 24/7 to monitor them for Highway Patrol to truly be able to be effective. And when they do come out, it works for about 3 days and the problem continues to get worse. So the property address is 109 10th Street in Ramona, California. It's sitting on the corner of 10th and 8th Street.
Thank you. Now, here for the next call.
Barbara Gordon. As a public health advocate, I was so thrilled to see American Heart Association recognized today. This is an important organization. As mentioned, we all need to take our heart health seriously, as high blood pressure is the most common underlying condition identified. We know from research that smoking is a major cause of high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. Most people with high blood pressure, known as hypertension, don't know they have it because no symptoms or warning signs, as it has earned the nickname of silent killer. As a Harvard research published in the Journal of American College of Cardiology found that people who smoke marijuana face a higher risk of dying of complications of high blood pressure, more than marijuana non-users. High blood pressure is preventable. Exercise, healthy diet, no smoking of any kind, marijuana or tobacco are the keys to keeping blood pressure under control. Understanding the risks of tobacco and marijuana use in cardiovascular health is essential. Again, I'm so thrilled that this organization was recognized for keeping our hearts healthy. I think by fostering more tobacco and marijuana prevention messages from the county would work towards a healthier and safer community. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. And I heard the next call.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Terry Ann Skelly. I'm a County Planning Group member, a parent, and a public health educator. Last week, KPBS interviewed Rady Children's Hospital pediatrician, Dr. Natalie Love, regarding the increase of 600 adolescents to its emergency room in 2025 because they needed treatment of some kind for their cannabis use. She said that, and I quote, prior to 2020, we were only seeing a handful of adolescents a year, maybe 20 or 30. Cannabis production, or rather cannabis products, are far more potent today than what previous generations were exposed to, end quote. PBS interviewed Dr. Love in response to the new research published in the Journal of American Medical Association regarding cannabis use with increased risk for serious mental health conditions. The strongest associations the study found was for psychotic and bipolar disorders, where the risk was about double. And importantly, teens reported on their cannabis use about 1 or 2 years before their mental health diagnosis. Again, Dr. Lab is quoted, "We see the public health crisis emerging in children and young adolescents with early initiation of cannabis use," end quote. I think we as residents of San Diego County need to ask ourselves what this early use marijuana means for long-term well-being of our youngest residents and the many who care for them, and take responsibility for reducing visibility and promotion that come with selling marijuana here in our county. Thank you for hearing my concerns this morning.
Thank you. We'll now hear from our final speaker this morning. Again, all the remaining speakers chamber at the conclusion of today's session.
Hi, Sloan here. Good morning, all. There's so much happening in our county and around the world right now. What we're witnessing is not random. It's not random chaos. It's order out of chaos. Week after week, year after year, I brought attention to how global agendas are being imposed on everyday people agendas like the United Nations framework for the 21st century and the so-called New World Order that centralizes power and strips individual freedom. Almost everything in modern life is imposed from government and downward, taxes, regulations, mandates. The vast majority of people are not truly free. We're just to money and to the systems controlled by those in power. And I want to remind everyone here, especially those working in any government agency, that government moves slowly by design. Years, decades are required to implement policies once they are written. And during those years of implementation, distractions multiply. While people are watching headlines, the real changes are happening quietly, away from the notice. The normalization of the unthinkable has come at a terrible cost. Our most vulnerable, the elderly, the children, have been abused, exploited, and trafficked. And here in our own community, there have been heartbreaking tragedies involving innocent children like Arabella McCormick, whose death revealed failures in the systems meant to protect her, and others whose suffering was preventable. I also want to mention how this board continues to ignore the necessities of the people and overlook horrific injustices. I hope I mentioned Delilah as well.
Thank you. Again, Chair Lester, we would like to include a request for non-agenda public communication this morning. All the remaining speakers will be heard at the conclusion of today's.
Okay, thank you. The next item on our agenda is an approval of the minutes and statements of proceedings for the general legislative session of February 10th, February 11th, 2026, and minutes of concurrent district meeting in the San Diego County Fire Protection District. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay. Motion by Supervisor Desmond, second by Chair Pro Tem McCurry. Please vote.
Chair Lester, that motion passes unanimously. All supervisors being present and voting on.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We now proceed with the formation of the consent agenda. This is items 1 through 12. And fire protection item 1. All items on the consent agenda are routine and will be acted upon with one motion. Individuals can comment on the consent agenda after the supervisor's report and if they'd like to for discussion. When any of my colleagues like to get full the items for discussion and are any comments on any items for the consent agenda. And please go ahead. I know there was an item that was pulled. Item 1 has been pulled. So the consent agenda today is items 2 through 12.
Thank you, Chair Lester. We're going to confirm for the record item 1 has been moved.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chairman Scott.
Excuse me, no need to pull any items, but I'm will remove the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you very much. Chairperson McCurry?
No need to pull.
Nothing to pull. The only comment I have is I want to register in Nobu at item 11.
So you'd like to bifurcate and measure both? Okay.
Or I just registered in Nobu.
Okay, thank you. I'll just make a quick comment on item number 6. I think this item uplifts the importance of continued focus on expanding our work on protecting consumers and fighting to protect people in our economy who are getting taken advantage of by shady businesses and continue to expand that effort. I think we need more of that, more aggressive enforcement, more aggressive actions kind of across the board on just protecting fairness in our local San Diego economy and enforcing those against really unfair, deceptive, shady business practices that take advantage of seniors, young people, renters, really all of us. So I think we just I'm glad we're going to continue expanding this in the county, and I think we should just continue to look for every opportunity to expand this fight and to build up our capacity to do this work that's so desperately needed for the people of San Diego. So that was my comment on item 6, and we will go to public comment.
Thank you, Chair Lester. Before we begin public comments, I would like to note for the record that agenda item number 8 seeks approval to amend the compensation compensation ordinance to change the salary schedule for the chief financial officer classification. Pursuant to Government Code Section 51953, prior to taking final action, the legislative body shall orally report a summary of the recommendation for final action on the salaries, salary schedule for compensation paid in the form of fringe benefits of local agency executives. The proposed salary will range from $250,224 to $395,678.40 and will become effective April 3rd, 2026. We have 12 requests to speak on items of the consent agenda, 4 in person and 8 requesting to speak by phone. As a reminder, item 1 has been withdrawn. Any individuals that requested to speak on the remaining items on the consent agenda by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions for you. We'll begin with the person speakers as your name is called. Please come forward and stand on the arrows and pillars to speak at the podium. You will have 2 minutes to address the board, and I'll ask you to begin by stating your name for the audio record. Also, when speaking, please identify which item or items on the consent agenda you are speaking about. I'd like to invite forward the individuals in person. Allegedly audio, Cesar Javier, Jennifer Royston, and Ricky Robinson. Please come forward.
Good morning. Cesar and Purita, Community Advocacy, District 9, under Elo Rivera leadership. Item number 1, please, let's also look at selective competitive procurement or bidding, name it, or contract, please. Number 2, no, it must be region-wide, please. God help. Number 11. Yes, foremost, for the sake of health, public safety, and public welfare. Recommend 2, Madam Chair, that loose code rule 10 permit, and 11 exemptions of 20 industrial and manufacturing businesses. I think loose department chief is here. All this staff are representing the 4 departments. Please, God help. Number 12, we received the communication and declaration. I hope it fits this item. Mama Girid, you declared that people are sick and dying in the forefront border, Tijuana River Valley pollution. What have we done? What have we done? Councilor Vivian Moreno made a presentation. This crisis began in 1993, and the city, as one of the forefronts, did nothing. Not any single centavo was budgeted for Tylenol, for biscuit, or even for clean water or clean food. God help.
Thank you.
Speaking of babies, sir, do you have a bun in the oven? Or is it a food baby? I don't know. Either way, be careful because the county might come after it. It's interesting to see what you guys do and you think is routine as far as human trafficking goes and sexual exploitation. Who's on this council? Like, you know, people like Elizabeth over here, her staff for CFWB, right? Child and Family Wellbeing. It's interesting. And also, you know, the district attorney, people that are engaged in actually human trafficking, Jim. That's why it's kind of funny, because it's like, what are you going to do with this money? Traffic more kids? How much money do you think you can possibly get for human trafficking? It's kind of like the topic right now, so I feel like you could really go and just suck the people, you know, just their blood money right out of them to traffic more kids. Because it's like, me, when I got beat up here, you guys, you know, right out in the hallway by the sheriff. It was interesting. And then I'm like, I'm going to go to the sheriff and see if they'll help. Will there be justice? Even from you guys, when you go to county council, right? And it's like, what are you talking about? Oh my gosh, women getting beaten up at the board of supervisors? Children being trafficked? Oh my gosh, this stuff doesn't happen. We don't engage in that. Which would be interesting to see. see if you show up, Jim, on Saturday. Because you guys sit here and you bring up items like this, and we have people come to you that have had their children ripped from their arms. And you guys just say, just do what the agency says, and they'll give you your kids back. It's interesting. That'd be funny if it actually worked that way, but it doesn't. So any money that you guys get is going to be used for misuse. And that's what you guys do with Title IV funding. It's misuse of public funds that needs to be pulled back.
Jennifer Royston, I am here to speak about the child trafficking that's happening in our system. I encourage you, if you are participating, please find your money a better way. Why? Because our government is changing. We have a government that is in line with God. They are disgusted by the human trafficking that is happening in our system. And no, all the bombs that are going around our world right now, that's our president snipping. And if you think that he's not on his way to snip every one of you child traffickers that are participating in the trafficking of our children with these lying social workers that provide absolutely no evidence in order to steal these children, these ballless judges like Alexander Calero and Alejandro Morales, who don't care about your civil rights, the rights that people die for. And if you are a Christian, and you are a Catholic, and you believe in God, this is your fight. Because if you believe for 1 second that God is going to say, oh, it's okay, you let them slaughter my greatest gift to this world, and that's our children, you are wrong. He's not only a loving God, he is a vengeful God. And the destruction of our children matter. The slaughter of their minds matter. Our children are under attack. They are taking our children and they are using them against us. America, wake up and understand that you, if you're working, you are funding these fucking pedophiles. You are giving them nice cars, nice homes, and you should be turning to them and be like, why am I working my ass off for you to sit there and get everything that you want?
Okay, Ricky Robinson for Agenda 3. I really don't have a speech together. I just want to tell Malika and Zaya, I love you dearly. I missed you. I haven't seen you since August, and they don't want to let me see you until I'm like 70. You're trafficking my granddaughters here. They should have been home a year and a half ago. But let's see, I believe we've done the math. We made millions off this family alone. But we want Malika and Zaya home. Child and Family Wellbeing, CWS, the most lying, corrupt social workers. You know what's great about it? The paper trail. They lie on paper. We're doing the investigation. If they don't want to give you reports, I've already put, in for reports. They objected. They don't want the evidence, but that's okay. My son will give it to me. But lies on top of lies on top of lies. I've never seen such lying social workers. This is sick. Sick, and I'm exposing it. As long as I'm breathing, I'm exposing it. Restraining orders or not. Malika and Zaya, I love you. I'll see you again someday. You will be coming home.
Shared them this way and is otherwise heavily secured. The cloud is easily hacked as well. IBM, on the other hand, provides servers which are more secure. Check it out. 3, human trafficking. You know all about trafficking, don't you? Because they already have the multi-agency San Diego Human Trafficking Task Force that combines sex trafficking, child exploitation, a collaborative effort involving federal, state, and local law enforcement, including the FBI, HSI, and the DA office. A major objection to this is that the amendment has only 2 street people victims and no children. 2 out of 20. I would expect less of is this corporate political argument about the abuse, not much from the
Paula, your device might be muted. We'll come back to you. You have 33 seconds remaining. Go to the next speaker.
Hi, good morning, supervisors. I'm speaking to item number 4. As you consider ratifying the 2026 Consolidated Fire Code and Wildland Urban Interstate Code, I appreciate the emphasis on defensible space, sprinklers, and home hardening. Those seem like good ideas, but I also would ask that we think about one of the most preventable ignition sources in high fire risk areas, which is smoking. Discarded cigarettes remain a known cause of vegetation fires, especially in dry, wind-prone conditions like we experience in unincorporated San Diego County. As access to high-potency marijuana products has expanded, we're also seeing more outdoor smoking in rural and wildland-adjacent areas. In communities where response times are longer and many residents are older or medically vulnerable, a single preventable spark can have devastating consequences. As we are strengthening water tank requirements and defensible space enforcement, I hope the county will also examine whether smoking restrictions and public education in high fire severity zones are strong enough, especially during red flag conditions. Wildfire resilience isn't only about how we build homes, it's also about reducing avoidable ignition risk. Thank you for your leadership on fire prevention and community safety.
Thank you. Now hear from the next one.
From 12, three. Okay, 3 first. It's a shame that we live in a world where child trafficking is even placed casually on the consent calendar. The fact that this is routine enough to be procedural should disturb every person in this room and listening in. Child trafficking is not a distant issue. It's a massive issue. And for those of you who are just waking up to this reality, understand that it is worse than what you are being told. Children are not commodities. They are not statistics. They are not line items. So when this board treats matters connected to exploitation as routine paperwork, it sends a message, and the message is detachment. Item 6, Supervisor Charles Reamer mentioned shady businesses. I'd like to talk about a major shady operation, and that is the way this county board conducts itself. When decisions are made that the public barely understands, when consent items move with little discussion, when policies increase financial pressure on families while expanding government control, that is not transparency, that is not service, that is shady as fuck. It is governance that operates in the shadows. And Tara, since you raised the issue of shady, let's talk directly. A brutally cut off a disabled resident who prepared and researched his remarks. That is not fairness. That is state control. When public comment is managed in a way that feels dismissive and selective, people notice. You appear very confident about extending terms and expanding your time on this seat. If that happens, I actually welcome it, because I will be here too. For as long as you hold this position, I will continue to call you up. I will continue to remind this county how you conduct your...
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Becky Raffin. I'd like to speak to item 3 first, addressing human trafficking and the sexual exploitation of children. And it should be the utmost priority. But you cannot address human trafficking without also addressing drug addiction and drug trafficking. These crises are deeply interconnected. Traffickers frequently use drugs as a tool of control, creating dependency, exploiting addiction, and trapping victims in cycles that are incredibly difficult to break free from. At the same time, drug trafficking networks and human trafficking operations often overlap, feeding off the same vulnerable population. As you consider establishing this critical child advisory council, I urge you to ensure that substance use prevention, addiction treatment access, and drug trafficking be fully integrated into this framework. Youth involved in child welfare or the juvenile justice system, runaway and homeless youth, and individuals struggling with addiction face disproportionate risk. If we focus only on one side of the equation without confronting the drug pipelines that fuel this evil cycle, we will fail. I support creating the advisory council, but true prevention requires a whole system response. Law enforcement, prosecution, health services, behavioral health, and survivor support working together to address both human trafficking and the drug trade that so often fuels it. If we're serious about protecting children and helping survivors heal and thrive, we must address both crises at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller.
Hey, it's Truth Item 2, no to a $2 tax on registration where the state demands innocent people's fingerprints in order to pay for a fingerprint system for criminals. No conflict there. Item 3, are you saying it took 15 years to create bylaws for the trafficking and exploitation of children advisory council in the biggest human trafficking hub in the country? This board in summer has settled hard for keeping children in Bar Logan and National City, not to mention CCS. Item 4, nobody who owns a house supports these expensive demands from the county, including expecting homeowners to provide their own water for fires the state will allow to burn, just like in the Palisades in Altadena, while the county promotes battery energy storage fire facilities. Item 5, not over $1 million tax dollars to race the lab of fire that claims that different ethnicities are born unhealthy. Talk about race diffusion. Item 6, if terrorists support this, then I do not. Because there's more fraud perpetrated by the county than there is in private business. That's a fact. Item 7, no to any building for a grand jury that gives joke names to the report full of loopholes and devoid of facts. Item 8, a $99 million raise to the sheriffs because this board pushed countless officers out of state thanks to the destructive lockdown policies and cost cut demands. Item 9, a $3 million raise to probation officers, maybe because the state keeps letting out violent sexual predators out of prison early as part of the destructive new scum agenda. Item 10, NCT not having the conflict of interest is a joke, and the school board are as badly conflicted as the transit agencies. Item 11, no wasting $165,000 towards union grifter demands of an unrealistic $25 minimum wage for private events already paying these public lands. These hypocrites can't even manage labor standards at local restaurants using illegal slave labor, let alone at parks. This is nothing but a kickback to the campaign funders of the progressives. People are going to stop putting on events at county parks, so it'll go just as well as paid parking at Balboa Park. And why was item 1 withdrawn? Was a $13.9 million contract with United Healthcare Services being withdrawn because the progressives were sold?
Thank you.
Gambler Hermie. You know, the sheriff that called me regarding the restraining order also recognized I could find election fraud organized within 8 hours. Hell, Sean Braun could go ahead and do it the same amount of time. He knows exactly where it is. He knows how to go and find it. Why don't you look? Why are you more persistent in trying to throw me in jail and get me in some kind of program where you could take away my rights using the SB, 34 or something like that? Instead of just looking. Now, why do you guys go ahead and pretend that you care about equality or even our environment when you refuse to adopt Julian Brown's technology? Is it because Congress is going ahead and paying 2 universities to build a lesser version of that? I mean, right now, we could have been generating money from our landfills that could pay for half of the crap that you're trying to do. But instead of that, you're trying to taking it from the people. Why is it that you protect these child traffickers? Are they registering people falsely to get you guys elected? I'm pretty sure of it. I'm a matter of fact, almost guaranteed of that. That is why you guys are so persistent in protecting the NVRA subsection 7 and 8, right? Dan, you know you cannot protect that law forever. And especially if you're going after me trying to throw me in jail, I have right to it. If you want me to go through court, I'll go ahead and do that, but I really, really don't want to. I want you to do the right thing. I want you to do that investigation. I want Sean Brown to be honest with me when he said he can't do anything until he is the boss. Now he is. I'm hoping he was honest with me. If not, whatever, well.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Ann Riddle. I came to speak to 1, 3, 5, 10, and 11, but I understand 1 has been pulled. Be very curious to know why. I had some concerns that this was 1, a single source contract, and that it's a contract with the same people as we've had, and there's been some legal concerns there. I'm especially concerned about number 3. This is where consent really lets us down. We needed an opportunity to discuss this under a discussion item. This is serious and important matter, and the optics for this county, the county residents watching the decisions you make about children, colors how we feel about you and your capacity to make good policy that protects children. And to wash it away by putting it on consent seems really unfortunate, and even when it comes back, it's going to come back again under consent. And it seems extraordinarily unwise in these times. I'm concerned, as was mentioned previously, that you're leaving out some of the important work, and that's the role of drug trafficking in its relationship to child trafficking. They are interwoven. And I noticed excluded from this advisory group is any prevention work. You have several robust community-based alcohol, tobacco, marijuana prevention groups here in our county, and they should be included. They are well aware of what it takes to protect children. They lead in this county in protecting children, particularly from the predatory issues, policies, approaches, advertising, promotions that come from these industries. We need their voice, because these industries do target children, and we need the voice of those who try to prevent this from happening. Let's take a new look at this. This is an opportunity. It's been in the making for a while.
Thank you. And now we're back to Paul Bowl. We have 33 seconds remaining.
I'm a microbiologist, and it's a TV on hand. Also, recovering and being this year vaccinated. I think it would also be nice to they help realize that the money could be for ordinances on.
Thank you, Chair Hosselman. That concludes public comment on that item.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor from Vice Chairman Stepp, a second from Chairperson McGarry. Please vote.
Chair Hosselman, the motion passes unanimously, noting for the record the supervisor designate Director Sturman no vote on item 11. Motion to the meeting has been supervisor.
Okay, thank you all very much. Now move on to discussion items 13 through 17 and clarification District 2. Due to some of the longer presentations, we need to reorder the agenda for today. So we're going to do the items in the following order. Item 17, then item 16, item 13, and clarification 2, taken concurrently, item 14, and then item 15. Again, 17, 16, 13, item 52, item 14, and 15. So we now move on to discussion item 17, disciplinary forms to county legal services. This is an item that I introduced along with my colleague, Betsy Steph. This item comes out of the work that we've been doing on the safety net subcommittee. So to support ongoing request that the committee report back, reporting back. So let me just say a couple of opening remarks to kind of give some context to this item, which I obviously think is quite important. Because of HR 1, we all know that hundreds of thousands of low-income San Diegans are at risk of losing their health insurance next year. The work that we've been doing in the Safety Net Committee has done a pretty deep dive on those numbers and numbers of individuals at risk, why they're at risk, how they're at risk, and what the parameters of those risks are as in terms of the threats it poses to our broader healthcare system. So when we do know that we have to do something to address this pretty significant shortfall, we know that when people lose coverage, they do not just stop getting sick. What actually happens is they skip their checkups, they don't get their prescriptions, they delay their care, their condition then worsens, and they inevitably end up in the emergency room, which is the most expensive place in our entire hospital system to receive care. It's not only the worst outcome for patients, which I think is obvious if you have skipped preventative care and you end up in an emergency. It also is extremely expensive. I think many of us who have been to an emergency room know firsthand what it looks like when it's all hands on deck, when hospitals are prepared to respond to an emergency, life-threatening condition. It is a very, very expensive way of providing care. So we know that those costs to our ERs will continue to increase, in part because there will be more and more individuals accessing those emergency rooms when they're not able to receive preventative care. In America, you don't leave people on the sidewalk to die. Thankfully, there's a lot of things about our healthcare system that are horrifying in terms of people's inability to access the care that they need and deserve. But at the very least, we know that people don't just get left to die on the sidewalk when they show up in an ER, which is what happens in many other countries. So what happens in reality is not that people disappear, is that these hospitals are forced to absorb millions of dollars in providing uncompensated care. And this means that everybody pays that cost. It's not only that the uninsured residents that I was just mentioning are getting sicker and are ending up in the ERs and dying. It also means that emergency rooms are crowded, hospitals have to figure out how to balance their books somewhere and are facing service cuts. And ultimately, this means our entire hospital system is under enormous strain from the cuts. Very concretely, how do hospitals manage this? In part by increasing insurance costs for those of us who have insurance and are lucky enough to have insurance, and in part by cutting services for everybody, because there's really no other way for the hospitals to continue operating as institutions if they're not cutting services somewhere. So that means for everybody in our entire hospital care system, waits get longer, it becomes harder to see doctors, it becomes harder to see specialists. Even if you have health insurance, your health insurance, the quality of that insurance, your ability to actually access care will go down. So this is a great concern. I have been really focused, along with Vice Chair Krista, on doing everything we can to protect the residents of San Diego, not just those who are losing insurance, but everyone, all 3.3 million of us, from
the very severe impacts coming our way in terms of access to quality health care in San Diego County. We have to acknowledge that previously, decades ago, there was a program, this County Medical Services Program, that was fairly active as the program of last resort in San Diego County for those who didn't have health insurance. But it really has become pretty much defunct. I think we had one person for a while, then 5, and maybe 14, then like 11. It really just not a program that was active at all. And the reason for that is that when President Obama passed the Affordable Care Act, this did 2 things. It expanded Medicaid, it also created opportunities for people to get private insurance through Covered California. And so the kind of combination of expansion of Covered California and expansion of Medicaid really eliminated the need for county medical services in any kind of real way, because people's health care was being provided primarily through their employer, secondarily through Covered California, and thirdly through Medicaid for those who did qualify, which there were quite significantly more people. So in any case, to just continue putting this in context and why we brought this forward with urgency today, the rolling back of Medicaid, which is going to, along with, by the way, the reduction in the ability of hospitals and providers to access provider payments, which is a sort of a more complicated way that hospitals have historically received reimbursements for care. But the pressures we're receiving on both ends of fewer patients qualifying for reimbursed Medicaid and the reduction of any kind of state, basically state payments that would then allow the hospitals to cover operating costs is going to, starting January 1, put a very, very, very significant strain on our entire hospital system. So, again, just kind of to wrap back around to how this impacts the county. Under California state law, counties, all counties, not just San Diego County, all counties are the healthcare safety net provider of last resort. That is not an option, that is not something we can think about, that's actually our legal mandate. But unlike other large counties, we do not run a public hospital system. So we, as a county, rely on community clinics and hospitals to carry that responsibility with us. And the way that we fulfilled that obligation historically, when we had folks, a large number of folks that were uninsured, was through the County Medical Services Program. So that's what this that is the context of this item today, is to really begin to lay the groundwork and prepare for the pretty significant strain that's coming to our hospital systems, and to kind of dig in and make a plan so we're not blindsided on the 1st of January. And I will turn the floor over to my colleague, Vice Chairwoman Brissett.
Thank you so much, Chair Lawson-Member. Thank you for your partnership on this board letter. And I just want to clarify a couple of things. I'll be brief. There have been and will continue to be many board actions to respond to harmful federal proposals for health care and include access for San Diegans. I think this is something I've heard from Ms. Dice that we, majority of us are concerned about. In November of last year, I did bring forward an item to the board to help residents who will temporarily lose Medi-Cal and CalFresh coverage due to paperwork errors and eligibility changes that are listed in HR 1. So this item is distinct from the Safety Net Bridge program, which is meant to help serve residents who temporarily lose that coverage and give them reconnected with services, but provide them sort of a bridge in the meantime. County Medical Services, as you have heard, it's a state mandated service that provides health care coverage for low-income adults who don't qualify for Medi-Cal and can't afford private insurance. Some of this is repetitive, but I'm going to repeat it because it can be a little bit nuanced and complicated. After the Affordable Care Act expanded Medi-Cal eligibility Many previously uninsured San Diegans were able to gain coverage that way. As a result, CMS enrollment decreased, program was reduced to state required minimum. And so that was a positive development. We're seeing a clawback on all of those things. So it is our responsibility to be prepared for what may come. So, want to just note about our current San Diego County Medical Services. It is one of the most restrictive programs of its kind in California. San Diego County residents must have significantly lower income to qualify for CMS services than other residents in other California counties, and at the same time, low-income participants must agree to a lien being placed on their property, a needlessly restrictive condition that no other county in the state imposes. So these provisions are the remnants of sort of a different era here at the county, and so I think we're looking to see how we can change those things and make this programming more accessible to people who may need these services. So I appreciate the partnership again, and that concludes my comments. Happy to move if you prefer to ask for public comment.
No, go ahead, that's great. Thank you. We have a motion by Vice Chairman Christoph. I'll second that with the item, and we'll go to public comment.
Thank you, Chair Wasserman. We have 16 requests to speak on this item, 10 in person and 6 requesting to speak by phone. Also note for the record that we received 1 e-comment in support. For any individuals that requested to speak on item 17 by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers. As it is called, please come forward and stand on the arrows until it is your turn to speak to the podium. Because there are 10 or more speakers on this item, you have 1 minute to address the board. And I'll ask you to begin by stating your name for the audio record. I'll call you in groups of 3, so I'll ask you to please listen for your name. I'd like to invite forward the first 3 individuals: Samantha Schwimmer, Leslie Audra, and Lindsay Wade. Call your name, please come forward.
Good morning, my name is Samantha Schwimmer. I'm here on behalf of the California Pan-Ethnic Health Network and the San Diego Health Table. I thank Chair Lawson-Remer and Vice Chair Montgomery Stepp for bringing forward this item and starting the conversation about much needed reforms to our county medical services program. Our county is experiencing a healthcare crisis with over 300,000 residents at risk for losing Medi-Cal due to new federal work requirements, and 75,000 San Diegans at risk for losing Medi-Cal because of their immigration status. San Diegans are housed for preventative and primary care and not taking their prescribed medications. This increases the likelihood for serious life-threatening illnesses, which put a larger strain on our county resources and make our communities less safe. We are asking the board to update the eligibility requirements, modify the age minimum to 19, eliminate the citizenship or legal permanent resident requirement, and thank you.
As the next speaker is coming forward, I'll invite 3 additional speakers: Cesar Javier, Clint Carney, and Pamela Eisman. Dr. Kalshman, please come forward and stand on the arrow stand.
You guys are good. I love how you can say these things with a straight face and really, try and get people to believe your bullshit, that you don't need people to die. You don't before you rob their organs, their money, take their home, things like that, right? And preventative care, and you're going to protect all 3.3 million of us? Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. I think that what is more exciting is these funds being cut. It's fantastic, because what you guys use that for is children to go mutilate their bodies. That's one thing. Medicare and Medicaid is used in the hospitals to deal with foster children that they hide sexual abuse of, right, Elizabeth? And Rabies does that. They're really good at damaging children. But yeah, I think this is fantastic, because what you guys also do with that is that you think that there is, you're going to help heart health when, why don't you guys stop vaccinating people with bioweapons? Paloma, see you next Tuesday.
Next speaker,
please. Chair Lawson-Remer, Vice Chair Montgomery Stepp, and members of the Board of Supervisors, good morning. I'm Lindsay Wade, Senior Vice President at the Hospital Association of San Diego and Imperial Counties. We represent every hospital and health system across the 2-county region. We're here today in strong support of this item to evaluate reforms to county medical services. By initiating this evaluation now, San Diego County is stepping forward as a statewide leader in proactively strengthening its safety net infrastructure. This moment builds on years, honestly decades, of advocacy and partnership to ensure the county fulfills its statutory responsibility as the provider of last resort. We appreciate the board's willingness to take this step. This item is fundamentally about protecting patients. A significant wave of health coverage losses is approaching, and we must act now to protect the stability of our healthcare system. Our emergency departments continue to experience record high volumes, and additional coverage losses and gaps in outpatient access will only intensify this pressure, affecting timely care for all patients. We commend you for your forward thinking and family camaraderie. Thank you.
Board of Supervisors, my name is Clint Carney. I'm a resident of District 3. I'm with Survivors of Torture International, also part of the San Diego Immigrant Rights Consortium and the San Diego Health Table of the California Pandemic Network. I appreciate you bringing this item forward and considering expanding the eligibility of who can participate in this program. Even if it's a loan program, other options are always important to bring forward. It's important to know that the Refugee Resettlement Program is a loan program. So refugees are vetted many times before they come to the United States, but before they get on the plane to come here, they have to sign a promissory note to pay back the expenses of being resettled in the United States. So that's an important factor to consider when discussing who you're allowing into the program. Asylum seekers are not undocumented. They have alien registration numbers. They have asylum applications. They have court dates. They are known in the system. So thank you for considering.
Thank you. Please.
Good morning, honorable members of the board. My name is Pam Eisen, and I am speaking on behalf of Sharp Healthcare, standing in strong support of this item. Thank you, Chairwoman Lawson-Krieger and Supervisor Montgomery Stepp for bringing this forward and making it a priority. Sharp is proud to serve more than 1 million county residents each year. That's nearly a third of our residents, and we see firsthand how critical healthcare safety net is for our communities. At a time when emergency departments are already experiencing record high volumes, we fear that coverage losses will only intensify the pressure and affect timely care for everyone. So at the core, this item is about protecting patients, and Sharp Healthcare strongly supports this proactive effort and stands ready to be a partner in strengthening the county's healthcare safety net. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next speaker is coming forward. I'd like to invite 3 additional speakers. Casey Shern.
Cesar Napolita, District 9.
Caesar, just a moment, please. I'm going to call 3 additional speakers. Casey Shirk, Monica Montano, and Jennifer Roysden. Caesar, please come. You can speak at the podium. Caesar, come on up, please.
Aging. We attended the Aging and Independent Advisory Board. We also attended this Health Environmental Quality. We also attended this ISSS, SSS Public Authority, and